stream anytime, anywhere with the free PBS app.
At a time when the ideal home had a big backyard and a two-car garage, Marina City made urban living look glamorous again.
They were glamorous. Man, that's a glamorous project. It's 60 stories tall, and to be up on the top floors, with those views, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
A home in the city was a tough sell in the early 60s. Chicago and other American cities were quickly losing their middle class to the suburbs. Downtowns were becoming abandoned at night.
The forces of suburbanization accelerate after World War II at a pace that the world had never seen before. It all became a kind of unstoppable monster that sucked the life out of the middle of the cities.
The president of the Janitors Union, William McFetrich, worried that the downtown economy his members relied on was in peril, and he offered a unique solution. His union would bankroll a downtown housing complex for the middle class.
If you brought housing downtown, you would get more activity downtown, the commercial institutions downtown would be stronger.
The labor union found a natural ally in the architect Bertrand Goldberg.
He believed that every American, every human being, had the right to good design.
Goldberg had been a protege of the modernist giant Mies van der Rohe, whose stark glass boxes were transforming American skylines.
His minimal steel and glass buildings, which are beautiful, didn't have a single curve in them, ever.
Bertrand Goldberg thought these boxy buildings were bad for the human spirit.
Goldberg literally saw them as psychological slums, buildings where the inhabitants were not treated with the same kind of dignity.
If Goldberg was going to capture the excitement of city living, he would need to think outside the box. His solution was Marina City, a 3-acre complex with hardly a right angle in sight.
There aren't a lot of round buildings. There just aren't. And there are even fewer round buildings that go like whoop, 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 like this.
This design will eliminate one of the builder's biggest problems, the useless and highly inefficient corner.
The repetitive concrete forms weren't just eye-catching, they were economical. The concrete was lifted up to each story and then carried by a conveyor belt into fiberglass molds. When the concrete dried, a crane lifted the molds up to the next story.
They were built very quickly, a floor a day.
A floor a day?
A floor a day.
But distinctive housing wasn't enough to entice people to live in a downtown often devoid of life. So Goldberg's design offered all the amenities of a vibrant urban core.
It included a theater, it included an office building, bowling alley, shops, restaurant.
And just like the suburbanites, you could have your own car, right?
That's right. This was part of being the working man in the United States. And not only would you have your own car, you would have your own boat in the marina, hence the name Marina City.
This self-contained city let residents go about their daily lives without ever interacting with the rest of Chicago.
It had no connection to the rest of the city.
Right.
It had no connection to the street, which is ultimately the most important element of the city is the street.
Of course, the city was always there to look at. Goldberg designed the towers like flower stems, the rooms projecting like petals, each framing picture-perfect views.
Every major room had a view, and a lot of view, floor to ceiling, wall to wall.
While residents didn't have backyards in the burbs, they did get their own slice of outdoor living space.
The crowning glory of the apartments are the circular balconies. They really are like opera boxes in the sky.
Opera boxes?
They give the occupants the ability to view the city as a kind of theater of life.
This was a new urban take on the American dream. The middle class could comfortably experience all the joys of downtown living in a city within a city. And it worked. The building became world famous.
The building became world famous, and not only that, it was rented very quickly. It showed America for the first time how exciting it could be to live in the heart of your downtown, where you were just footsteps away from leisure and culture and your workplace. It really provided a new vision of what downtown living could be about.